there you are. Have you ever wondered how much money you can make, starting with as little money as possible? I never have, but today I'm going to see if I can take as little as $500 and turn it into $1 million business. Now I know this is a very lofty goal, but just hear me out. I have a very sophisticated plan. So I'm gonna take an idea and turn it into a real product, and then I'm gonna sell it for lots and lots of money. Now I think a Kickstarter is going to be our best bet here because it's a great way to raise funds for our product while also raising further attention for the product. And you know, the added bonus of actually having the money to craft the products would probably be a good bonus. So now that we have the bare minimums for this challenge, how hard could it be? Believe it or not, coming up with ideas for amazing Kickstarters is not as easy as it sounds. No matter what you try, these things just can't be forced. They have to come naturally. So with no ideas and time running out for the day, I decided to call it a night. What the heck? Who are you? What are you doing in my house?
I have come bearing gifts, my son.
Really? What'd you bring? Like, a new car?
No.
A new house?
No.
A bunch of...
Stop guessing! I have come to tell you that everything you are seeking can be found in... YouTube. It'll all make sense when you pick up your phone tomorrow morning. I've spoken. Alright, we're done here. Let's clean up.
Why do you look like...
No, I'm not. See? Wearing sunglasses.
You're not even a real angel, are you? I'm calling the cops.
Alright, I think it's time for you to wake up.
Okay, so maybe it didn't happen exactly like that. I did get my inspiration from a YouTube video I watched by Veritasium, though. This video about 3D printed rockets really got me thinking. Not about printing full-scale rockets, of course, but model kits. Now, I love a good model kit, but I just don't like that you are stuck with the one model you buy. There's no creativity in coming up with cooler ways to build it. It doesn't have to be that way, though. Have you guys ever heard of Kerbal's space program? It's okay if you haven't, but if you're interested at all in space, you should definitely check it out. It's a sandbox that you get a collection of parts to make into any spacecraft that you want and send yourself on all sorts of missions. Oh, and your crew, they're space frogs. It's important, I promise. Imagine if a similar system existed for model kits. A collection of set parts that all fit together in any configuration that you want. Now we're on to something. So here we are, like 3 months later. The design process took a little bit longer than I expected, and I still have some aesthetic issues to figure out to make the build look more interesting. But the main central component of all of this was particularly difficult to figure out. I wanted to use like a twist lock mechanism, or even just some threaded inserts, but everything was compromising on one of the main goals I had with this project. I wanted the rockets to stage semi-realistically. And if you're not familiar with how staging works, here's a quick example. It takes an insane amount of thrust to get rockets out of our planet's atmosphere. This requires huge, powerful engines that use a lot of fuel really quickly. But once you're in the vacuum of space and you don't require such powerful engines, you don't want to be lugging those around all the time. So that's where staging comes in. Inside of one of those cylinders is a smaller engine with a decoupler below it. When that decoupler is activated, the rocket is separated into two sections, or stages. The smaller, more efficient section can continue on with its mission, while the spent stage can fall back down to Earth and burn up in the atmosphere, or be collected. So this is what I want my models to be able to do, which means unscrewing parts to separate them just isn't going to work. So after months of redesigns and prototypes, I finally found a design that works. Using a combination of pegs and magnets, each part can fit together and stay securely assembled. The pegs ensure that the parts are always aligned because on the sides of the fuel tanks are these slots that run almost all the way down. This allows you to slide things like fins or even other fuel tanks into them. Now, to hide the upper stages, I made a shroud that will go around the smaller engines, so that way it creates the illusion of one solid rocket. But the upper stage can still be easily pulled up and out of the shroud to act as a staging mechanism. I'm actually pretty happy with how this design turned out. I was trying to come up with every problem I could think of and then find a solution for it, and so far at least, I think I did just that. There are definitely some more details to add to each part so that way they are visually interesting, but the core mechanic is essentially finished. So now that we have a pretty much finished product, what do we do with it? We've kind of arrived at the step that I'm at now. This is the step where we finalize designs and name, choose branding colors and logos, figure out packaging, manufacturing, all the fun stuff. It is also the time that we need to begin to build a community around the product. Your Kickstarter is significantly more likely to succeed if you have an existing community and fan base before launch. For me, this is the hardest part, as I'm really bad at deciding on names and colors and everything, but luckily I have been considering manufacturing throughout this whole process. I'm really excited because I've actually been in contact with Formlabs. They're like the industry leaders in 3D printer manufacturers right now. We're possibly looking at a joint deal together so that way I can exclusively use their SLS machines on this project. For marketing and community building, I've actually been in contact with a few big YouTubers who are kind of the faces of KSP and space here on the platform. It'd be awesome to get their help and their insight on the project because I really just want it to be as great as possible. Now to sell out for a moment. If this is a project that sounds like something you want to learn more about or help support, then there is a link to a Patreon page in the description. Financial support is not at all required, but every little bit is greatly appreciated because it allows me to spend some extra time on the project and make it bigger and better. All the main content for this project will still be posted here on this channel for free. It just gets you access to some extras like some behind the scenes footage, as well as being able to participate in polls to choose some new features for the project. So if you do want to help shape the future of this product, then the Patreon is a great place to be. With that said, I will be sharing a lot more about this process, as well as hopefully showcasing the success of our Kickstarter, so that way we can beat this challenge. All that will be right here on this channel, so subscribe if you have not done that already. In my absence, you guys have been insanely supportive and there's been a huge amount of growth on the channel, so I'm extremely grateful for you guys. Well, I've got a lot of work to do to finish up these designs, so I better find someplace safe to put the camera that I'll definitely remember later. Okay, here we go. I should remember this. See you guys later.